Now, I now have great pleasure in introducing our keynote speaker, Managing Director of Barwon Water, Tracey Slatter. Tracey has been at the helm for nearly 5 years as Managing Director, and under her leadership, Barwon Water has developed and launched Strategy 2030, marking a paradigm shift for the organisation from utility provider to an enabler of regional prosperity and sustainability. Planning is underway for a new 50-year plan, Water for Our Future, which will aim to keep water accessible and affordable as our climate becomes drier. Barwon Water has also pioneered an innovative waste system called the Renewable Organics Network. Tracey has previously held a number of senior roles, including CEO at the City of Port Phillip and CEO at Colac Otway Shire. She is a proud member and proud Board Director of G21. Please make Tracey welcome. Thank you, Tracey.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie, Chair, for that very, very warm welcome. I really appreciate that. And thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that I'm on today, the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and pay my respects to any Aboriginal people who may be joining us at this AGM today. Also want to acknowledge Chair Stephanie Asher and thank you again for the opportunity. Also Julia Baggio, your leadership at G21 is exciting and really looking forward to the next era. And the picture that you painted about the opportunities that we face is really exciting and quite inspiring. Also pay my respects to all of the mayors and councillors joining us today. I want you for a moment to just imagine waking up in the morning and going to turn the tap on and no water comes out. And you think, oh, there must be something perhaps wrong with our house, but you go outside and you find everybody is also in the same predicament. And in fact, there's no water anywhere. And you start to think, well, what will I do? I can't drink the water out of the river. It's not drinking quality. And perhaps one of my neighbours might have a tank, but they might not let me use that. And in any event, that's going to run out soon too. It's okay. You don't have to imagine that scenario because Barwon Water absolutely manages these issues every single day. There are hundreds of our people. But I think as a society we do underestimate the role of water. And what I've learnt since joining Barwon Water is that water touches every aspect of our lives. And while we take it for granted, and that's okay, it's essential to the economic, social, environmental, recreational and cultural prosperity of our region. It's essential to all of those challenges and opportunities that Julia outlined. And as important as water is to our very survival, let alone the prosperity of our region, when I joined Barwon Water, the board wanted us to do so much more. They wanted Barwon Water to be a leader of prosperity of our region and to lean in to some of the most significant challenges that our region faces. And I want to touch on just two of these. The first one is climate change and the second is the equity divides that we see in our society. So firstly with climate change, as Stephanie mentioned, that we're facing a warming and drying climate. And there's growing awareness from every quarter of the world and from every political sphere of the need to take action as a society. It's not a crusade, it's something we need to do to help grow a sustainable economy for the future. But when our board first said we need to tackle and be a zero emissions organisation, it at first was quite overwhelming. You know, how does a water corp really lean into this? Especially when we realise that water corporations are one of the largest greenhouse gas emission emitters in the government sector. But nonetheless, we went on this journey. But what was also critical was to make sure that we did this in a way that was true to the role that we have in the region as a water provider and sewerage treater. So I asked myself, how can we not only reduce carbon emissions but also reduce our costs and create new sustainable jobs for our region in the new economy? And how can we leverage these changes in partnership with our customers so that their emissions, wastes and costs are also driven down? And there are two examples of these that I want to share. The first is the Colac Renewable Organic Network, and I was fortunate enough to be there with Mayor and councillors yesterday, where we had a look at the Colac Renewable Organic Network. And it really started with conversations with two of our largest customers in Colac, the Australian Lamb Company and Buller Cream, and listening and asking them about their challenges, the challenges that they face. And they talked about uncertain and growing costs of treating waste and uncertain and growing costs of energy. And at the time, we were experimenting with capturing methane at our plant, and there was talk of shutting it down because it wasn't really working and it was never going to be cost effective. But we joined together these two opportunities, the opportunity to capture methane at our plant, but also to turn the waste model on its head with our trade waste customers. Now they discharge high-strength organic waste down their sewer to us. They don't have to expend lots of money treating that waste to a high standard beforehand. We capture that methane through